perfect conditions for the second of 4 rounds in the opening event of the 2022 season on the LPGA Tour of Korea. Some of the featured groups we will be following over the course of the next 2 to 3 hours, just after 3 p.m. local time in the south portion of Korea. Teeing off earlier in the morning, Lee So-young amongst those just before noon local time. At noon exactly, Hong Jung-min, Jae Reem, Park Ji-young, Kim Ji-young 2 currently sitting at 2 under par. It is a pretty intense group with Oh Ji-hyun and Park Ju-young as well, all in the thick of it. There was some danger for Park Young-kyung for quite a while earlier in the round. She's certainly not in contention, but as we begin our coverage, she is 2 strokes clear, of the projected cut line of 3 over par. Let's head out to course to the par 4 12th. This is the approach shot from 72 meters out. Chan In-soo in nicely. Leaves herself with a very makeable par putt. Oh Ji-hyun will be first to play her third of the par 4 10th. Sailing even beyond the fringe and into the rough at the top right of the green. Definitely needed some bite to slow it up, but would have liked to have flown that another meter or two closer to target. Park Young-kyung finally back up to even par, a roller coaster round for her. Safely comfortable, but a double at the first. It's been able to straighten things out and pick up a trio of birdies at the turn. Now the par save to avoid dropping to 1 under. Mixture of too much power and slightly off on the line read for Chan In-soo. Kim Ji-young 2, also off the back at the 10th. It's been hit or miss at number 10 today. Good collection of birdies and bogeys alike. And speaking of bogeys, having her positive work back down to 1 under. Park Ji-young now putting from the fringe, decent line. Three birdies on the day to go along with 3 bogeys. She is even at the turn. Now the champion of 2019, 71 meters out. Needs to hit the brakes. Be a 10-footer for Jo Aeon. Overcooked back onto the green. Needed this for par moments ago. Sure, there will be a immediate debrief on the tee between these three when they head to the 11th. Not the way she would have hoped to start her back 9. Solid par save this time, Oh Ji-hyun.
That's it.
Just enough speed to make the last few centimeters and down. She's 3 under for the round at even. And 1 under will be the score, heading to 11. Even through the first 10 holes of her Friday afternoon. Up to 12. 85 meters, a wedge down to the putting surface. Comes to rest just about 5 paces off the back of the green. One of the shorter par 4s on the course here at number 11. That's pretty close to ideal. Take yourself away from the bunkers and try and give yourself as much of a straight shot down towards the green. Pars and birdies, the consistent score here at number 11 for all but one player currently above the cut line. Only Kim Yoon-gyo had some difficulties with the second shot here on the ocean course. Looking to bounce back after third birdie of the round for Kim Ji-young too. She will join her groupmate off to the left, the extreme left of the fairway. Uphill putt for birdie before making the turn. A little left to right, especially at the end, you'll see that movement kick in. Good weight control. One over for the day. Bogey coming at the par 4 third. $123 on the approach. Be mindful of the pin position today towards that front left cut, and we'll stop up in the valley between the two steps. Another look at birdie. This at 12. So Jung and pulled to the inside. Seeing many of the pins today juxtaposing what was faced yesterday. Certainly not unique to this course, but you have a new pin location pretty much every day, and you'll be facing an entirely different putt. Hindsight probably needed to club up. As dramatic as the slopes look here, this is a mostly straight putt. It's going to move back down towards the left at the end, carrying a little bit too much speed as it rolls right over top of the cup. Jay Riemann 12. Ball about a foot higher than her feet, coupled with mostly right to left wind. That was drawn from the very beginning. That will be a bit of a cumbersome path back up the hill. She's been dialed in 91% greens in regulation. She'll be able to add another to the list, though that is not the end result she would have been hoping for. And the par save is made. Start of the day even after an opening round of 72. One more stroke to the good, and yes, this is the trouble spot with the pin mostly entirely disguised for Buck Young, 22 meters out. That's just a perfect up. Lovely touch. And Baek Ji-young for birdie at 11. Straightened out too much for her. Be 3 pars in a row. Great start with birdies at 1 and 3. Good way to get the momentum rolling. Watch how quickly this will lose its speed for Jae Reem. Needed to give it a good whack, and she did. I think she had given up on that entirely. Stood up straight in a bit of a "are you kidding me" kind of glance at the hole, and the boss decided the joke was over and finished its path. Nice make, especially considering the bogey to start the back. Baek Ji-young unable to cash in on that birdie. About 3 feet to the left of target. Action is coming thick and fast. And the up and down will not be made after a great shot from the rough. Well, she started the front nine with a double, so relatively speaking, bogey is an improvement. That'll be a little disheartening after how much work she put in to find her birdies. After something of a day to forget yesterday, Ko Ji-hyun, a 75 in the opening round. She's stringing together some much more consistent and positive golf. And to 14. A 7-iron club of choice for this 134-meter par 3. Second shortest on course. Factored in the wind as well, you can see flying right in her face. Well off to the left. Back to 12 with J. Ream for par. This time it's pushed. Dropped a shot and down to even. Kime Ream in the clubhouse will be feeling more and more confident as the minutes and hours pass along after another sensational round. Speaking of sensational, it's a charitable birdie with a flourish. $100,001 donated for every birdie made on the 18 this weekend. Sometimes we see the target zones in the fairway, sometimes holes are designated at a particular score, which is the case today on 18. Par save keeps her 3 under for the day, 1 under for the tournament. Yesterday, before our opening round coverage began, Han Ju started off her round. 69 was her final score on the day, and she hung on to the lead for most of Thursday afternoon before Kime Ream came scorching by. Bogey at the 13th, a birdie at 16 as she makes the turn, one of the groups to start on the 10th tee today. Chanun Su will be putting from well off the green. Two feet will remain for par. And rejoining Choi Yun. Second shot at number 10. Landed it on the fringe, and with as firm as these greens are playing, that was always destined for a long trip. The unenviable task of walking by her groupmate who's inside of a couple of feet, and a guaranteed birdie. Now back to Young, 93 meters uphill and a much more reasonable amount of wind compared to the previous group to come through here. If you're going to attack the pin, the right side of the fairway is not the place to be. Just 6 yards from the right side, pretty much middle distance. This time it hits spins and moves the opposite direction, front left. And some Jew for birdie to get to 4 under. It's starting to, just needed a little bit more snap. Bogeyed 13, birdied 16, even at the turn. And lost to play the approach, and a nearly wide open green for Kim Ji-young too. Three very different putts coming up. One on basically each corner of the green, if you will. You could triangulate the pin almost perfectly in between them. To 13. Daunting silhouette of Al-Hassan in the back. Staying to the right side and nicely away from the sand. Short par save converted from off the left side of the green. A nice first putt to set up simple tap in par. And Buck Young again from 87 meters out, trying to stick this in close to try and eradicate the bogey at the last. That will not be an easy birdie putt the way that sat on the upslope towards the back of the green. Speaking of the back of the green, Choi Yan likely want to land this pretty significantly to the right of target and let it roll. Oh, that's beautiful. Nearly perfect. Would have been quite the birdie, but she will feel confident in the tap in par and moving on to the next. She won in 2019. Her second round was the second best for 4 days out on course, having gone 1 under, 2 under, 1 under, and a remarkable 67 in the final round to secure the title. Lee Min stopped on a dime. Winner of the Tongbu Construction Court Championship in the middle of October in 2021. Two putts to finish off the 13th. So Yun Jung. It's a great day to be outside, whether that's on the course or on the water. We get our first look at the leaderboard of the afternoon, and yes, everybody is chasing Kime Rima. Another great round. 5 under 67 in round 1, 4 under 68 today. She has the score to beat by a comfortable 4-stroke margin. It's our Friday coverage, round number 2 of the Lotte Rent-A-Car Ladies Open. It will continue right after this. And we welcome you back with a refresher on the LF Hazzies Points Championship for 2022. 10 golfers will qualify for the final round. Your points in the season-long competition based on the scores you have after making the cut. All the way from 200 points for an albatross, yet to see many of those. Holes in one worth 100, eagles 50, birdies 10, pars 5, and negative points for being over par. Also get points based on your position in the final leaderboard from 500 for first all the way down to 1 point for 49th and 50th. My name is Adam Jenkins. Great to have you along for round number 2. It's a lot of golf fans in this very much golfing nation will be absolutely elated not only to have the LPGA Tour of Korea back, but for those keeping an eye on the Masters, the leader after round number 1 at Augusta National. Fantastic round put together. 5 under par for Im Sung-jae. Sole possession of the lead heading into round number 2. While back in his native land, we find Ji-hyun continuing to make some progress. There'll be quite the effort to try and get within even 3 of Kim Hae-rim, Ji-won, and Im Jin-hee. 2 rounds, 66 and 65 respectively, the closest competitors at the minute, 4 back of the leader. Using all available real estate on the back of the green, and now a significant downhill birdie putt. The weight to line balance nearly spot on, but it would have been comfortably wide, even with a little bit more juice on that putt. Back Ji-young, 134 meters for her out from the fairway. 26 meters at the apex of that ball flight. Not quite far enough to the right to stay on that top step. This is not an optical illusion. This is how far to the right of the cup Kim Ji-young 2 has to start this putt. It's got a chance. It's got a great chance. Yes, it will fall. Back-to-back birdies with an exclamation mark. What a remarkable putt that was. I'm sure we'll be seeing that one later in the round highlights. That one to a share of the top 10 at 3 under par. Level with Isomi, among others. She would have had her eyes set on bigger and better in round number 2, but we should be, I'll knock on wood to not jinx it, be seeing Park Young tomorrow. You can tell that she's off to a tougher start as well when you don't have the smile that's usually plastered on her face. The levity's not there, you know, things just aren't quite clicking. Same can't be said on that tee shot at the par 3. Rejoin that group in a moment, but first, Lee Jung-min to try and get inside the cut line. Easy to tell that that's an uphill putt, but deceiving from our vantage point just how steep a climb it is. Still has plenty of time to get the one stroke she needs. Now birdie look and a birdie made. And an exhale. Around 4 birdies now to get to 2 under for the tournament. Seven under is the lowest score of the day, and she is well on her way to meet that threshold. It's Choi Yan. A mixture of the pitching wedge-induced spin and the uphill climb beyond the cup will keep her inside of reasonable birdie distance. And a birdie for Jay Ream. Up to 1 under. An up and down day for her, to say the least. Bogey at 1, birdie 3, bogey 4, bogey 6, then birdie 9, 10, and her most recent. Final few holes of the day. This is the approach, the par 5 for Chen and Su, and that is going to be a nice roll back down. Getting an instant read on what's left for birdie. Speaking of birdies, although that one never really seemed to be in the cards. Started it too far wide. Tap in par. Up to 15, she will go still at 2 under. Been chipping away since she teed off at 11:40 local time in group number 23. Don't need too much pace on this one. Do need the line though. That's another bird slip away. Well, a dramatic hole such as this deserves a little dramatic music as well, as we give you the lay of the land of the 14th. 134 meters from the tee block over the water to the cup. Bobby Trent Jr., the course designer, described this brilliantly, saying the sparkling hazard of the water, reminiscent of a pearl necklace. And with as windy as Jeju can be, pin position and the wind certainly influence club selection here. Another case with only a handful of players above the cut line who weren't able to at least escape with a par here, and that is trouble. Stay away from the hazard, so she should still be able to putt down. A little bit too much club. Just outside of 103 meters on the approach for Pak Young at 12. And that's much more like it. Reminiscent of the form we saw on numerous occasions, including the 43rd KLPGA Championship. It was a season for Pak Young that would see her go on to finish 4th in both the points and the money list by season's end. And that putt will not be for the faint of heart. Pak Ji-young's turn. Carried quite a bit more distance. It'll be all the way to the back left of the green, but again, that valley between the two steps will make it a little less daunting. And over to 15, a look at birdie and a chance at 2 under. It's tiptoeing its way towards the cup, but 2 feet shy. So it will be another par here at 15 for Chen and Su. Trying to set up another birdie, Kim Ji-young too, and hoping that it won't require quite as difficult a putt as the last, and it just needed to hang on. She's saying the exact same thing. If only that carried another meter or two, she would have been in tap-in territory. And a great approach for Pak Young, setting up a look at birdie. Gentle tap to get it started, but off on her line. Jay Rima's away. Bumps and bobbles off the fringe and on its way down will be par. Four holes to play. 1 under for the tournament. Now with the movement at the end just before the cup, she's going to want to start this up on the hill. It's a good attempt at the necessary line. Don't mind missing left if you're going to miss in that situation to give you a little bit more of a flat approach. We'd love to see a reverse angle of this, but clear enough to pull the putter out. That's why we're seeing as many low scores as we are here at this par 3. It's relatively forgiving, both the green itself and the fringe and rough surrounding it. Started it right, came back left, and about a meter beyond birdie realm. We get back to the fairway with Choayan on 12. It's 113 meters. Picked that clean. Country mile to the left, short of pin high as well. Start it up and watch it fall back down. Needs to get right in a hurry. Not quite the birdie magic from the last, but good crack at it. About a meter and a half remaining. This is the safe par. Disappointing tee shot. Little less weight on her shoulders after watching that one drop.
으악 하고 맞았어.
Back to Young. Oh no. I've seen a couple from almost that exact location. Miss Wide stares down, trying to figure out what she missed in her read. And a look at birdie. Not as low as she would have been hoping for, but a nice way to make a positive impact in an otherwise difficult round. Also moves her up to 4 over. .64 players at the minute inside the projected cut of 3 over par. No one quite making a dent towards the top of the leaderboard with the front page all in the clubhouse. Kimia Reams' round of 68 continues to set the pace at 9 under par heading into the weekend. The end of the opening hour of round number 2. Our coverage on SPS Golf.
最高です。
Another example of the rewards you can reap if you are able to find the front edge of the green at 18. Players of the 119 in the field to start the day. That is it in terms of those who are under par. Birdie here yesterday for Soyeon Jung. A hop, a skip, and not enough to get back to the right. Well, 358 meters. Downhill hole. Smattering of bunkers to the left. One bunker guarding the right side of the fairway as well. You split the two bunkers, you're a 9-iron away from the target. The pin today at 13, 10 yards, 12 yards, excuse me, off the front, 7 yards from the right side. You want to be aggressive. You're certainly entitled to, but those bunkers will be in play the further right you get, especially with the slope towards the rear bunker. We were not expecting to see Park Young 10 shots off the lead. Driving the ball exceptionally well yesterday. 13 of her 14 fairways she recorded in regulation. Slight dip in her GIR, missing 4 greens yesterday. Shortchanged from Choyeon. The opposite of Park Young in terms of the stats from round 1, where saw her struggles off the tee. Her short game was faring rather better. There's a lot to celebrate yesterday. When it went well, it went really well. 5 birdies on the day, but 3 bogeys held her back to just 2 under par. No birdies yet on the round today, though 2 more bogeys at the 3rd and the 12th. To 16. Chen Su. A heavy bounce and nearly finds the fringe. Back it comes, and it's still carrying a fair bit of speed. Considering she nearly grazed the fringe, that is a pretty nice end result. Another miss long and left at 14. Should carry to the danger zone. Seen a couple of misses from there. Good recovery putt nonetheless. No rush to speed through these preparations. To avoid her second bogey of the round. Tricky one, right to left. Slightly overcooked and It will be bogey. Needs to start this higher. But Ji Young did just about 10 or 15 minutes ago. She makes the same slight miscalculation on the line. Another tap in par for Pak Young Kyung. This was moments ago. Bogey finalized, damage somewhat minimized. The joy she found in the birdie column certainly came on the Sky course, the front nine yesterday with 4 of those birdies. The slightest of misses to the inside will be a tap in par. Mere inches away from getting back to even on the day, Baek Ji-young. Into 15, birdie look at the par 5. Just a little tap to get it started, and you hope your line is on the money, and it is. Third birdie of the round, her first since the 7th hole. Fist bumped as she's even impressed herself with that birdie make. She had putt through the line. It was always going to be overhit, but fraction of a degree off. Gets her to graze the cup and stay out as Oh Ji-hyun looks to finalize her par, and she has. From her vantage point, slightly left to right. Down it goes, and the par is saved. On her way to the penultimate hole of the round. It should just be a short tap in for Kim Ji-young too here as well. Six back of the leader. Jae Reem, her second par 5. 15th, 253 still to make up. Conservative iron down into the fairway. Should be a near exact replay of the shot we just saw. Does the previous shot better by the length of an iron. And now, Pak Young Tee shot at 14, a birdie here yesterday. She could repeat that today. Should be back to even. Pieces aren't falling into place for her today. And a trip to the beach on 13. It's a tricky one when you're needing to hit a mid-iron out of the sand. Gets herself back in the fairway. It's 123 meters for Jay Ream, 71% greens in regulation so far. Well, she tried to attack the right side. Mission accomplished in that sense. Six meters closer to the pin. Baek Ji-young. That's nearly the perfect spot to land it for this exact reason, like a magnet pulling it closer. About 7 feet to go. Slight downhill putt for birdie. Well, with more favorable conditions, we are seeing many more attack the left fairway today. It's pretty close to a 50-50 split. And the first of 3 shots here at 15. One of only 3 holes, Kim Ream bogeyed today. And if you needed a further explanation on how impressive her round was, 7 birdies converted. But her struggles at 10, 13, and 15 today, and that's the way to tee off at 15. Up and down for par is what is facing Choi Yun, and she'll get closer with the downslope. Otherwise, bogey would have become probable. Kim Jung-2 is next, and no doubt about where she's aiming here. And that clears the 2 blocks. Also looking to get to the left side of the fairway here. Well, not many are attempting to reach into, but if if you're going to, certainly the way to do it is to be on that left side. The wind blows just the right way is possible, but with the water, you'd either have to be on an absolute confidence tear or have the hybrid or fairway wood dialed in. Swung herself right out of the grip, and this is a lot of green to aim at. Fortunately, she misses all of it. Jay Ream, this would move her into a tie for 14th. Had absolutely no desire to head back left. See if she can fare from the opposite side of this significant green. Starting it right is the ideal plan. Tricky day for Hong Jung-min, now 4 over as it stands, matching her opening round. Didn't want to miss long. Should be a 2-putt par. And after being short this, to set up a look at par, and that is not going to be the easiest one she'll face today unless it gets that last push back. That's about 18 to 20 feet out. And all the way down to the 4th shot on this par 5 for birdie, and a birdie converted. 5 on the day, a absolutely faultless round in progress from Park Ji-young. When you don't want to overthink. Clears her head, makes the putt, and starting to see the smile. There it is. That's a flash of the pearly whites of relief. Full foot to the outside. Inside of the cup, excuse me, and she still nearly missed on the line. Had to putt through that. And still stuck at 3 over for the round. Nearly straight as an arrow. Downhill approach. Being as close as the pin is on this par 5. We won't see many at all trying to attack the green today. An iron down to ourselves in prime condition for the approach. As we head to 17, the final par 3, it will be 6 iron for Zheng Suyan. Short and left here. Nestled in nicely as well. Game Jiyoung too. That's the tee shot in the par 4 16th. Proper dogleg to the right. With a little bit of flair. Drawn well over the sand and into safety. That's about 20 to 25 feet to try and save par. And So Jung has got it. Two under for the round, 2 holes to play. 6 back of the leader. Remains Kime Reem, Yewan, who we were quite impressed with yesterday. A duplicate round of 70. Has her within 5 heading into the weekend. In a tie for 4th, Hong Jian and Im Genie the closest to Kime Reem, 4 back at 5 under par. Well, it is 126 meters down the hill and over the water. This is the third shot for Oh Ji-hyun. Unsure off the release. And she will grab a bit of the fringe at the end. Now from the rough, Shannon Su rolls that up nicely. Less than the hope, which would have been a birdie to get to even and perhaps even finish the day at 1 under. We'll still have that chance at even par with her next hole, her final hole, number 36 for the event. It's 125, separating Park Ji-young and the pin. This might also grab the fringe and slightly more to the left. A little stay on, but didn't quite get the kick she would have been hoping for. Now Jay Ream. Unlike the 15th, this is an approach you've got to climb up to get to. Slightly tailing off to the right, and that'll work out just fine. Perhaps spoke too soon. She was on the line, carried it too far, and she's still taking the scenic route. This was later in the season, and I'd seen more of these knocked down. I'd say this was a mere formality, but enough to keep her honest. Kim Chung-2 is next. Asking it to get down, and it obeys its commands. Can't strike it much better. Aggressive right at it, and a fantastic result for her. This two drifting to the right, but this two carrying too far. Not quite as dramatic, but it will roll for another 5 seconds or so to the right and away. Into 17. A green car, the trophy for an ace. You're on the second to last hole. And not just short, but well short. Oh Ji-hyun and Park Ji-young will be rightfully a little envious of their group mate who's significantly closer. So Jihyun's caddy mark out their spot about 2 feet to the left. I'll pick up speed in a hurry. It's 12 meters down. Thought about it. Didn't make its last move to the left. Park Young is going for it. In her eyes, not much to lose. Can be a little bit more aggressive here. It's 290. Full swing with the wood. Carried beautifully. The closer she could sail that thing, the higher the degree of wedge she could take, which is certainly a blessing here at 15. Jiyoung's birdie try. Seems a lot closer. Pretty remarkable that despite where she had mentally picked out her spot, still wasn't enough to the left. Jay Ream from the back right on 16.
Okay, nice touch.
I think that's a positive result. I won't do Kim Ji-young to the injustice of saying this is automatic, and that is why. Another birdie slipped through the fingers. Still at 1 under for the day. Short little uphill flop on 17. Tricky one as a result of being as short as she was off the tee. Now Jihyun for par.
Nice.
She's playing some excellent golf at the moment. Not putting herself in a position to make many mistake, and 4 under, she's done a lot of the heavy lifting already.
Nice touch. Good.
Two putt par and on to the 17th. It's 125. Perfect. That is the just reward for a fabulous second shot. And Jay Ream will stay at 1 under. Even for the day, 2 holes to play. Nearly 100 shots so far on 16. Only 2 have found the sand. Handful missing the fairway to the left. But all in pretty systematic into the fairway. Well, the sand avoided. The second cut, however, couldn't say the same for that. Absolutely launched. That should be safe. Putting on 17. Long look at par. So Yanjung, slightly too much power. So it is a drop. Second bogey of the round and second of the back 9. Just after 4:30 p.m. local time on Jeju, Kime Reem still comfortably ahead by 4. Approaching the final hour of round number 2, the opening event of 33 this season on the LPGA Tour of Korea. Always in for our fair share of triumph and heartbreak, and I would classify that in the latter. Just hanging over the edge and preventing a bogey, one more stroke to the good, so she will settle for a 36-round score of 143. This is Oh Ji-hyun from 116 meters out on 16. Reminder, we're looking left side of the green here. And that is very much on the right. One of the more complicated reads here at 18. Definitely downhill. Little right to left. Spotted and executed perfectly from Atasom. That's another 100,000 won for charity in the bag. 700 million won purse this weekend. 126 of that for the winner, same as it was last year. Kim Ji-young 2 tied for 4th to start the day. Down into a tie for 10th at the minute at a combined score of 3 under. And won't be making up any ground on this, barring a minor miracle. Two lovely approaches to set up a chance at birdie, and she had given up on it. Didn't take her long to realize that that was offline, and the flat stick struggles continue for Park Young-kyung. Into 17. Baek Jun first to tee off. She's chosen 6-iron. Definitely a tester with a pin location. 7 and 6 off the front and left respectively. You almost want that second cut. Try and take some of your momentum off. Help illustrates why we've seen a few players go drastically short. And speaking of the second cut, that is where that approach will get stuck. From the border of the fringe, Kim Ji-young 2. Uphill and a significant right to left on its way in. Might have given herself a chance had she muscled through the break a little bit more.
이 정도? 그렇지, 보기는 그렇게 봐야지. 여기만 이렇게 지나가지고.
It's a pretty good way to spend a Friday, just as the weekend is about to begin in earnest. We'll wrap up here on Jeju, and it won't be long before round 2 of the Masters begins, with a Korean atop of that leaderboard as well, thanks to some shot making nearly identical to what we just saw. For the 4th birdie of the back 9, 6th of the day. She is on a torrid streak. significantly straighter than Kim Ji-young 2's situation, but also significantly underhit relative to the last shot from that part of the green. Now Jae-reem, her second to last chance at a birdie. So it'd move her within 7. It's got a chance. It looks great. It is great.
나이스 버디.
3 holes separating her from her last birdie and another step forward. And back to 18. Just a little chip to get it started. Use the fringe as your friend. It's a great try. Birdie moves Jae-reem up into a tie for 14th at 2 under, 7 back. And that is where she has finished her round, also 7 back for So-yeon Jung. Well, late in the day, and the putts are starting to fall left and right. Throw a circle on that card. Baek Ji-young as well. 4th birdie of the day. Now to 18. Absolutely launched, and there's a lot of fairway to aim at 18. She made sure she was set up nicely. Ji Hyun trying to save par at 16. Off by a minuscule amount, but enough to prevent her from finding another birdie. Deteriorating, unfortunately, slightly in the home stretch. First drop shot of the round. Had 4 birdies prior to that little fumble. Well, based on the form from today, that will be quite the group tomorrow on moving day. Just around 45 minutes or so remaining in round number 2 here at the Lotte Rent-A-Car Ladies Open on Jeju Island. Well, you know you're on your final hole of the day when you have the gorgeous view of the clubhouse. Knowing you're hopefully just 3 strokes away from wrapping up your round and making the walk in. Advancing down nicely.
딱 저번 주 서울도 문다고
Let's check in with OG Hyun. Missing short, but also finding the rough. Still 19 meters to make up. Oh, and that is the perfect control. Slowed right down with the rough. Not often do you want to earn a par on a par 3, but after a miss hit tee shot such as that, I think that will be a pretty content result should it be finalized. Next to go downhill and to the right, Park Ji-young. These second shots on the par 5 often aren't the most exciting, but they are important. Positioning so important to give yourself the best look down towards the pin. This is in the bag for Park Young-gung. We've seen her make many of these, but usually that's accompanied by confident play leading up to it, which unfortunately for her has not been a well-oiled tool on the day. Still a great attempt at it, just about 10 inches shy. Some of the shots she was pulling off in her win at the 43rd KLPGA Championship were remarkable. She had gone 3 under, 2 under, 3 under, and 2 under. Steady as possible. Just the third event of the season last year. It'll be the fourth this season with the insertion of a brand new event that we will be contesting next week at Payron. Jay Ream looking immediately front right of the green. 5 yards off the front, 4 yards from the right. She's 93 meters up the hill from the target. She gets it 92 of the 93 she was after. That would have been a way to end the round with a flourish. She'll feel very optimistic that she will be finishing with the birdie. Be back to back and would take her to 2 under on the day, 3 under for the round. Park Ji-young's thinking to herself, I'll take an exact replica of that, please and thanks. Significantly closer, only 70 meters. Gap wedge in hand, and she too is going to hammer on the brakes. Downhill to the front of the green is theoretically a difficult pin location, but those two, well, they're not showing signs of any difficulty with those approach shots. 1 hole behind Kim Ji-young too. Off the fringe and never really wanted to settle into the line. Now on 16, be disappointed to not be jogging off with the birdie. Stays even for the day. par as well for Oh Ji-hyun.
안 밟을까?
Well, in anticipation of her next shot, respectfully turning away, otherwise be a pretty clear look at the line. And glances over. Now it's my turn. Try and make it a trio of pars. Even at 2 under. In her defense, I don't think there's going to be many secrets to learn from a 2-footer like this. Straight at it.
아,
Oh, the announcer's jinx. Pushed it to the right.
나이스. 오빠도 그랬어요?
한번 빼야지.
It's a nearly unthinkable miss. Be a frustrating bogey. Although, it's not made official until she sees it go in. This time she gets it. She'll be replaying that shot, Park Ju-young, all the way to the 18th tee. Likely long into the night as well. Well, I would wager that there will be 300,000 won donated within the next 90 seconds or so. Not just one highlight reel approach, but 3 of them. We're not seeing a ton of one-putt performances on 18. Should have learned my lesson at the last. Momentum fizzles out. That would have been a very well-deserved birdie, and yet, no matter how long you stare it down, unfortunately doesn't change it, but she should be elated nevertheless with a lovely second round. Jay Ream, birdie to get to 3 under. Into a tie for 11th. Kim Jae-hee, So-mi. Kim Yi-an also at 3 under. And to 17 we go. Six iron for Park Young-kyung.
가면 좋다.
Would have liked that cut around the green to be a little bit springier.
들어가서 더 들어가서.
Bogeyed here yesterday on 17 to Park Young-kyung. And on the 18th tee, Oh Ji-hyun. And a tick mark, but after her first shot at the final hole, par here yesterday. She launches that drive 59 meters per second. The exit velocity. Joint tie for low rounds of the day between Imjini and Chung Yun-ji, both with 65s on the day. Time to put the missed par in the rearview mirror. Makes it a bit tricky as far left as she is in the fairway. Doesn't quite have as clean a look, but conservative would have been the approach, more likely than not anyways. Choi Yun to get back to even. A long look at birdie. 4 feet shy. Starting to slightly cool off at Jeju. It was about 20 degrees when we joined the round a couple of hours ago. It's still a very comfortable 19 and gorgeous any direction you look. Oh Ji-hyun second at 18. Giving herself a bit more leeway to work. She headed left towards the sand. .241 out for Park Ju-young. Stays to the left, and that will open up nicely. And the longest drive, leaving just 238 meters for Kim Ji-young, too. One more time to 17 with Park Young Young. Just a little chip to get it started. And Choi Young for par at 16. 4 feet a little left to right. And a rattle down. This will unfortunately be a round of regret for her. In particular, that stretch back-to-back bogeys of 12 and 13.
오케이. 요거네. 요거.
And one more to go. Barring disaster, we'll see her tomorrow. But she'd feel much better about a tie for 25th and 36th, and more importantly, seeing an E on the scorecard rather than a +1. Ji Hyun's approach, 85 meters, the furthest back of the three.
아,
15 meters closer is Park Joo-young. And she is going to get the spin back. That will replace the gritted teeth from 17 with a big smile. An excellent effort.
부산 보고 생각.
Par here yesterday. And a step in the right direction. She was 230 yards off the tee with the driver on 18. Well, the power very much on display. Kim Ji-young too. Of everyone left on course, she is as close to a challenger as we have, with the exception of 2 decent rounds, with still plenty of golf to be played for Kim Yan and Jung Soo Gi, excuse me, as well, on the 12th and 13th hole, respectively, both at 3 under. We'll see her in the round highlights, but the class of the field remains. Kim A. Reem. Remarkable performance on the day. 5 of her last 7 holes saw birdies picked up. She is our leader at 9 under. Ji Hyun, one last chance at a birdie. Lengthy one at 18. She celebrated as she watched that one roll in. She knew. She joins the very short list of scorching hot scorecards with another birdie. Gives her an injection up the leaderboard as well. 68 on the day, 4 under par. A mega bounce back from her opening round of 75 yesterday. Well, after the misadventure at 17, she is going to take her time and not take this opportunity for granted. Needs to pick up a bit of speed and pulled to the inside left. So 1 over round of 144. She will head to moving day at even par. Look for a little bit more consistency in round 3. Some great shot making, especially in the early days. But getting after it is exactly how she plays this game. We received a crash course with the last group on the difficulties of these final putts on 18, even at a relatively short distance such as this. Be a chance for birdie. Tip of the cap and ends the round with a circle on the scorecard. It is her 5th of the day, and she is 3 under, currently in a tie for 11th position. And now that the green is clearing up, carte blanche for Park Yeon-kyung.
됐어요.
19 meters at the apex. Right where you'd want to be, in line for the bunker, but opened right up from the fairway, that final approach on down. It's 235. Going with iron, Lee Jung-min. Well, she needed to find the bottom of the cup to make the cut. Knew it was unlikely, but now it is official. A few different places she'll be able to look back on today. See where the round slipped away. Yesterday, 3 bogeys, 315, and a bogey here at 18. And just got off to a stumbling start with consecutive bogeys, then 5, 13, and 16. Her saving graces being pars at 8 and 10. Down they go. We'll let them reach their third shots and rejoin. Joyeon. She has the line inch perfect, just ran out of speed at the end. $118 on 15. First time we've seen Park Jae-hoon today. Very much a warm-up for what is to be expected at the 18th. Well, a hole-in-one that I'm hoping the cameras were rolling on at the 14th. If that is the case, we will see a replay of that momentarily from Im Ju-yeon.
자.
And yes, I would say that the confidence and momentum is carrying over here to 15. Say an ace in your opening event of the season is a pretty good sign of what could be a special year. Par made at 17 for Joyeon. I'll give her a little bit more breathing room heading to 18. Straight down. Kim Young got the spin she needed to slow it up, but carrying a little further with the wedge. The final approach shot of the event for Lee Jung-min, and she saved one of her best shots for last. Lovely bit of short game play. From a winner on tour. It's a bit more experienced than some of the younger faces and names on tour, but she certainly still has some solid performances in store. Wouldn't be surprised to see her take another title in 2022. Alisson is witness for the ace from In Ju-yeon. Should mention as well, Im Seung-chae still just 24 years of age, already 2 wins on tour, and tied for second back at the 2020 Masters. Something special about the course. Native of Cheongju. time. He was the first Asian player to finish runner-up at Augusta. Mastery would be a bit of an understatement. A 1500 performance in his debut. Resides in Jeju himself, so I'm sure he has played these exact holes at the Lotte Hill Country Club once or twice. Or once, or twice, or 100 times, I'm sure. As you can see, the one putts, as many as we've had in terms of opportunities, only 29% of all players have gone on to find their birdie. Park Young-gung will be looking to change that narrative now and get to even. Started well. Yes, there it is. She's due for at least one of those around, and she saved it for her last shot of the day. She will head to moving day at even. Back to 15. Jaeun also at even, hoping to find a birdie on the par 5 of her own.
Okay.
Took off about midway through its path and
Okay.
it's floated further and further to the right. And Lee Jung-min with what could be her final shot of the weekend. Will set her sights on Paeram after this. It is par. It is 150 through 2 rounds. 5 bogeys on the day, and this is where we will say our farewell for now to Lee Jung-min. Trying to follow up an ace with a birdie. Just pulled to the inside. For Min Ju-yeon.
네, 바로.
And the last to finish in the group. Kim Soo-ji would love to match Park Young-gyung's birdie. She too will be bowing out. Could be by the slimmest of margins. And she does get her birdie. 17 pars, birdie at the last. The damage, unfortunately for her, was done in round 1. "17 we go." Chip from the fringe, trying to give herself a little bit more room under the collar. She is on that projected cut line right now. And we will follow the 2018 winner in. 254 remains after her drive at 18. Down the fairway to set up the approach that she will be hoping leads to a birdie. Trying to replicate the action for Pak Young at the last. Well, an 81 yesterday. Just couldn't put the game together out of the gates. Pak So-jin. 1 under on the round today. Just a couple of feet shy on 17 of a chip and birdie. So she'll need a eagle as well at the last to get back over the cut line. Well, lacking the accuracy off the tee, but recovering nicely. Just outside of 100 meters to go. So-jin, and one of the best shots of the day on the approach again. Everyone seems to have the read on this 18th. And the approach for Joyon. 91 meters is the distance out. Some work to be done for birdie. So I'll have to put back uphill towards the front lip. Pak Jae-eun. Well, it does get the spring off the fringe and is on his way back down, and this is a very nice looking line. Well, perhaps a tournament defining shot. And Jae-eun. Need to hole it out to see Saturday. And on the tee at 17. And so me, 1 over for the round. It was a 79 yesterday in the opener. The margins are so fine on 17. If that carries even a few more meters, she's probably in birdie range, and now of a chip and a putt instead. Jung Soo-gi, her approach at the par 5. Start of the day in a tie for 4th. Drew an opening round of 70. And now the tournament on the line. Oh, she gave herself a chance. Young Jae-eun short by 4 or 5 feet. Well, not not be able to make up the ground required to make the cut. Kim Yan, 125 out on 15. On its way back, and will sit above the hole with about 15 feet to make up. Now Choyan for birdie. 144th stroke of the tournament. Does it have enough to get left? No. Tap in par. She will head to Saturday 1 over. 3 birdies on the round, 3, 12, and 13. Our contestants for tomorrow are starting to take shape. 62 players as it stands, projected to make the cut. So we take you through the second round highlights. Tip of the cap. Pretty good way to start this portion of the course for Kim Reem. More of what we saw yesterday. Attacking the pins and leaving very, very short birdies, which she racked up many of on the day. One of those, when it left the putter, she knew she had a chance. Had to will its way in the final few meters. Nice birdie from Chang Soo-yeon. And this shows you the difficulties of the greens. Jeju, and when there's an audible reaction such as that from Hamin Song, you know that you've done something pretty special. Birdie got her to 4 under, which is where she would finish the round. Another day of 70. And this get left. Well, it got left. Yan, a birdie to finish the round. Not quite as dramatic, but a birdie nevertheless as well. From Jian. Look at the amount of circles on that scorecard. You can count them up. 8 birdies on the day. And the penultimate hole for Kim Reem on the day. And a birdie to get to 9 under. She would par the 9th. Chanana turning in a much better performance today. Even par in round 1, 68 today. 5 birdies, just the 1 slip up at the 4th. She is 5 back of the lead in a tie for 4th. Kim Ji-young 2. This was her birdie we saw earlier at 11. Froze for a split second as the ball was making up its mind whether or not it was going to go down, and it would. And then this fantastic effort on the 15th, the par 5. To tiptoeing its way and all the way in for So-yeon Jung. On 17. Swooping back to the right and in for Park Ji-young. Give her a step forward up the leaderboard as well. Then the long-awaited return to the birdie game for Park Young at 18. Their 144th shot of the tournament. She would finish in a tie for 27th. And we will see her tomorrow. One final look at the leaderboard. It is a 4-shot advantage after a 4-under round for Kim Reem. That is the standard that has been set, and everyone else will chase. An important scheduling note, we are on the air an hour earlier tomorrow, 2 p.m. local time, 5 a.m. GMT. We hope to see you then for moving day. We've cut the field by more than half. We are taking another giant step forward towards crowning our first champion of the season, the first of 33 events on the LPGA Tour of Korea in 2022. You ran a better round today. We followed her group closely yesterday. 1 under par of 71 to get her to 1 over. Chi Han Sol, a similar score. Good performance as well at 4 under to make the cut and only just. And yes, that is the cutoff right now. Will be a nervy 18th for a pair of golfers finishing their rounds. This is where we will leave you for today. On behalf of our entire SBS Golf crew, I've been Adam Jenkins. Thank you for spending your Friday with us. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow, 2 p.m. local time for round 3. This is the opener of the season, the Lotte Rent-A-Car Ladies Open. Goodbye for now.